yeah, you are bringing this. These are classic questions. There is a personal doer. What is will? Also in the fourth way, they say that there is in the second state and as mechanical, asleep, there's no will. So you are bringing all of this together. So I would say that I would challenge this doer, the doer and the thinker, and you can even try to have an exercise to observe if actually there is a thinker behind the thinking, and simply sitting somewhere at some point in a room and notice how it works. And you will perhaps notice that there are various thoughts randomly arising. Whether you identify with them or not, but there are random thoughts arising by themselves, like the weather. So it's important to verify that the thoughts arise impersonally as the weather, and there is no decider behind that thought. It's just it comes, and then another one, and another one, and they are governed by various influences, whatever. But just to notice that it is happening, and even our decisions. So I made this decision, but decisions, they arise in the form of a thought, which are happening. So don't believe this, but try to verify and check for yourself to see if there is some decider or thinker, or it's more like it's a happening. And something is aware of this happening. Now, coming back to the will, in the system, there is this idea that there's the whole point about the work, waking up. Only then we are going to acquire a sense of conscious will, where we can actually decide, hey, I'm going to do this project, and then we follow up with it. In the second state or at the beginning of the work and for quite some time, that's more like an illusion of will. And what happens is that the eyes coming, they have their own small little will. Like, there's a little bit of desire to pee. And so there's some energy that's like, oh, I want to pee. And then it's instinctive I, which is very legitimate, or wanting to date, wanting to find a woman, or wanting to whatever. So there are just some small energy of each little impulse that are ever changing, and among which there is the interest in awakening. So there's not one will, it's many scattered eyes with their own small will. If we are really interested in this work, and through all these exercises, even if it sounds like they are unsuccessful, and coming back to what another person said before, so, oh, I give up, I don't want to play anymore. So all of these are so natural, this phenomena. But if we persist, every moment of this conscious effort of observing or coming back from imagination, or as we go later dealing with negative, unpleasant emotions, all of this, they strengthen this aspect of ourselves that is interested in the work, and that gradually grows. So it starts to be more important than anything else. the interest in the work and the desire to work on oneself along these lines becomes stronger will than anything else. This takes usually some time, and out of that, we will the real I, which we all have it, but is dormant, the real I, which is that which is aware right now, it is more, wakes up, and then is more, sees all the other things and doesn't go along with them. Peter?
Yes, I would say too that will in the context of the fourth way, as Mihai mentioned earlier, is related to consciousness itself. It is not really about the four centers that we've talked about. The instinctive center, moving center, intellectual center, and emotional center. And there are different degrees of attention that we can use in each of those four centers. So I can make a movement very intentionally with my attention. I can bring attention to the moving center as I lift a glass to have a drink of water. I can do it very intentionally with full attention. Or I can just do it without thinking about it. I just pick up the glass, drink, hardly aware that I even picked up a glass. So when we bring attention to the centers, it can feel like I am doing this. I am now controlling this. And that's true. That's true on the level of attention in the one or more of the four centers. That is not conscious will. Conscious will would mean that you could remain present at will for as long as you had the will to do it. Consciousness would be there knowingly watching you live your life. And another aspect of this, I think, Rem, is which may be confusing you. I'm not sure if this is it, but that, and I don't know if we've mentioned this yet, but each person has a proclivity, a predominant proclivity in one or more of the four centers. It's called center of gravity. So one person is more, centered in their emotional center. They're really anchored there psychologically as well as physiologically. And so we may think we have more will in an area that's closer to our center of gravity. So someone who's moving centered, has their center of gravity in the moving center, thinks they can do things, physical things. I can fix the sink. I can put these pieces of wood together and make a table. Whereas an emotionally centered person would have no idea how to even start those projects. But an emotionally centered person can feel for others in a way that someone who's moving centered is oblivious most of the time, oblivious to the fact that other people have feelings. And then intellectually centered people who are, have their center of gravity in the intellectual center, they're revolving in thinking, what is called thinking all the time, and trying to solve problems, and even trying to distinguish between will and doing and not doing and this sort of thing. And so to notice where, and this goes back to self-observation and observing ourselves and seeing, why is Ramez concerned about this? Whereas somebody else, maybe Erica, Debbie, is not. They're not so concerned. They have a different center of gravity. And so I'm just trying to say, will is a big topic. This idea of conscious will is, and if you don't understand consciousness, and moreover, if consciousness is not conscious of itself, it can't be fully understood. It will forever be an exercise of the mind and of the four different centers. What is will? What would it mean to have will? So, in fact, the truth is all that we are explaining in these modules and the idea behind the exercises and all of it is actually tied to consciousness. We're trying to put the emphasis always on the consciousness, the awarenessing, the witnessing, the observing, and help guide you more and more to that in yourself. It isn't really so much about the external. It isn't the form of the exercise. It's to bring consciousness, help bring consciousness back into focus as itself, as this silence of inner being, the inner silence of being in you, in each of us.